Hello, my name is Mia Johnson.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
It has been 3 months since the city of El Paso, which was once listed as one of the safest cities in the United States, experienced one of the deadliest mass shootings in the country.
Although our city is devastated, we choose to remember the victims for who they were and the strength of our city.
This is Rocket Vision, and we are El Paso Strong. The morning of August 3rd changed history forever.
As the events unfolded, the community of El Paso was left desperately waiting for any updates from authorities, eyes glued to their TVs with continuous text messages flooding their phones.
That same day, hundreds of El Pasoans flooded blood donation centers and donated to relief centers, actively looking for any place to help.
Weekends in the Sun City are flooded with traffic as people use these days to spend time with their families. Hundreds cross the border to shop, visit family, take a walk downtown, or to grab a bite. Malls, parks, stores, and movie theaters are often filled with people from both El Paso and Ciudad Juarez. For millions of consumers, Walmart is the main source for groceries, school supplies, clothing, and more. The morning of August 3rd was just an ordinary summer Saturday, until unexpected tragedy would forever cast a haze of sadness over the El Paso skyline. During this time, no one knew where anyone was. Families were desperate, hoping their loved ones were okay. Authorities did not release any information during the time. The news was all over social media. Facebook set up a crisis event for people to mark themselves safe during the active shooting. El Paso was trending nationally, but it wasn't the kind of attention anyone would ask for. After such a horrific attack, the people of El Paso did not cower, but rather united in a time of crisis. All law enforcement officers responded, whether they were off duty or not. Hundreds of El Pasoans flocked to their nearest blood donation center, which would soon be filled to capacity. To honor those who were lost, El Paso citizens took it upon themselves to create a memorial right in front of the Walmart. People came to pay their respects in any way they could, whether it be through crosses, artwork, candles, or even flowers. By embracing their feelings of sadness and anger in order to become resilient, the phrase El Paso Strong was formed. With every passing moment, El Paso grows stronger than ever before. Together we show the world that El Paso is not just a place where one of the deadliest mass shootings in the United States took place. El Paso is people from all over the place, coming together through our diverse culture, which is a piece of everyone. El Paso is a place for love, strength, and unity. Our true colors were shown to the world in the wake of this tragedy, and we only proved what an amazing city El Paso is, and how this town leaves a lasting impact on anyone who visits. We welcome anyone from any ethnic background with loving arms, because that's the El Paso way. We are helpful, we are supportive, we are caring. We are El Paso.
22 people died the morning of August 3rd. Amongst them were U.S. and Mexican citizens ranging from 15 to 90 years old.
Some died trying to protect others, while others were killed alongside their loved ones.
Next up, we have stories of self-sacrifice, heroism, and devastating loss from both sides of the borders.
Arturo Benavides was a caring and loving husband and was proud to be from El Paso. Benavides served his community and his country with pride and integrity. Arturo and his wife Patricia were inside Walmart purchasing their items and separated before the mass shooter entered.
So I thought, okay, I'm gonna wait for him right here at the bench next to the women's bathroom. And that's when I started seeing the people running horrified and heard the shots. And before I knew it, I was hiding in the women's bathroom, in the handicapped big bathroom. And there was this lady and this man next to me were holding hands and shaking.
Patricia was displaced to Sam's with no idea as to where Arturo was or if he was safe.
Later on, they released us, and they just told us to come out with their arms up, and she was like, "Oh, thank God you're safe." And then, but she says, "But what about Arturo? I don't know. I don't know anything about him. I didn't find out until Sunday around 3 that Arturo hadn't made it. He was gone."
More than 200 people attended the Fort Bliss Cemetery to say their final goodbyes. Sun Metro paid their respects by placing his name on the digital destination sign of 160 buses and renamed the Eastside Transfer Center to Arturo Duri Benavides for his 20 years of service to Sun Metro.
Well, it's a great honor. It was very emotional for me that they're gonna put his name on the transit center. And they even asked me for a picture of him so they can make a plate with his face. And I'm really, really, really thankful from the bottom of my heart.
An El Paso native who has been such a strong voice in representing the borderland community before Congress sat down with her staff to discuss her views on gun control.
With a commitment to the El Paso community, here is Congresswoman Veronica Escobar.
On November 6, 2018, Veronica Escobar won the six-way Democratic primary with 61% of the vote. She then became the first Latina congresswoman in Texas. Escobar's responsibility for legislating and oversight also includes the introducing of bills, participation in committees, and resolutions while offering amendments.
I felt the call right now during what I think is a very dark period in American history. I felt the need to pitch in. I feel like there's a battle for America's soul happening and that I needed to be a part of that battle.
Escobar describes herself as a paseña, a fronteriza with a gift of public service who portrays her city as a binational community with the fluidity of people, language, history, and culture. Escobar believes the act of violence that targeted the El Paso community put Hispanics at the intersection of a hate and gun violence epidemic in America.
Ultimately, what happened to all of us in El Paso must be a catalyst for change. We have to be the vehicle for change. The status quo is unacceptable.
Escobar has always been an advocate for gun control. With guns being easily accessible, she believes the country needs serious gun violence prevention legislation.
The debate has been focused on the rights of those who hold the Second Amendment as their ability to do anything, buy anything. We have a right to safety and security. In grocery stores, in schools, in public spaces, it's about time we legislate for people's right to be safe.
With the passing of every bill in favor of regulation of gun control, she organized a committee hearing to discuss the banning of assault weapons.
The witness I invited is one of the surgeons who took care of many people who were dying and who were severely injured on that day. I told him that I needed him to be graphic. I needed him to tell America what he saw because people need to know what these guns do to the human body.
In her fight for change, Escobar just won the freshman leadership seat and will now be a part of Nancy Pelosi's leadership team. She will now join the weekly meetings, helping to shape the Democratic caucus strategy on key issues. This has been Nate Magallanes reporting for Rocky Vision.
As a result of the constant increase in mass shootings, the Isleta Independent School District invited local citizens to educate them on what to do in an active shooter situation.
Reporter Brandon Martinez attended the CRAZE training and will now provide helpful tips to prevent civilians from becoming victims.
After the August 3rd shooting, Isleta Independent School District began a series of active shooter event trainings in conjunction with local law enforcement agencies.
Wherever you're at, if something happens there, you have to know what to do. And most people, if you don't practice, you are never going to play the way you need to.
CRAZE trainings educate participants on the best methods and actions they can take in situations involving an active shooter. One important thing to do is to always be aware of your personal space. Remember to watch people and not look past them. If you see something abnormal, report it.
These are the kind of things that when we aren't there, we need you to be aware of your surroundings, know what's going on, get to a safe place and call us. Because the quicker you get the information to us, the quicker we can respond.
Law enforcement recommends civilians to follow a quick response protocol. For example, when you hear a loud bang, don't hesitate or question the sound. Instead, make a decision to act.
You know, when somebody walks into Walmart with an AK-47 hearing protection, is this really the right time to wonder what are his intentions?
Number 1, avoid any interaction with the person willing to cause you harm. Run and exit the dangerous area immediately. Hide behind a secure door if running is not an option. Reacting quickly other than waiting will give you seconds that could save your life.
We either fight, we run, or we freeze. You know, when these guys go in there, their intention is to cause the most amount of deaths. So when people fall on the floor, you've given me your life. Thank you.
Number 2, deny entry. Create a barrier between you and the shooter. Hide on the same wall as the door. Number 3, plan to defend yourself. The shooter expects you to be afraid. Try to come out of the initial state of shock you are in. Use whatever you need to use to stop the shooter and remove the weapon from him. Go for the legs to shift their motion. Every second counts in a situation like this. Use these tips if you ever encounter an active shooter event. This was Brandon Martinez reporting for Rocket Vision.
Store number 2201 recently opened its doors on November 14th with some interior modifications. Officials say that there will be a permanent memorial to remember the victims and recognize the relationship between Ciudad Juarez and El Paso.
Reporter Gianna Rivera is here with all the details on the Walmart store reopening.
Here we are 3 months after the August 3rd tragedy, standing before the re-grand opening of Walmart Store 2201. Today marks a huge milestone for our community and shows that no matter what, we will always be united. Walmart Store 2201 opened its doors after 103 days on November 14, 2019. The store featured interior and exterior renovations and the building of a memorial for the 22 victims lost.
We're all like everybody else, very sad of what happened here, but life must go on, and I'm happy they reopened and everybody's in a good spirit. It was a very good experience coming in and having everybody greet you.
People of all ages returned to their local Walmart to watch those doors open, the El Paso Strong banner drop, and the U.S. flag rise.
Not only are we representing Walmart, we're also representing El Paso. We're representing the United States. We are showing how strong we are and throughout the whole world.
Walmart personnel held a private opening for Walmart associates prior to the public opening, where Walmart associates warmly welcomed customers and made them feel at ease.
After the tragedy, we all came together and we all supported one another and loved one another and the words that the people were giving us that we're gonna come back and we're strong, and that's what helped me get to today.
Although some El Pasoans had mixed feelings about the reopening, citizens believe life goes on and we must heal one way or another.
It's hard not to forget. And our thing was just come in and go out. And that's what I thought. And the best way that I knew to do it is come by myself. Face my fear. That's the only way I'm going to do it.
The memorial that is being built is going to be called the Grand Candela and is 30 feet tall with 22 individual aluminum arcs grouped into what will look like a large candle.
No matter what, through thick and thin, everyone's going to stick together as a family, and that's how strongest Hispanic roots are here. And I want everybody to know that no matter what, someone's going to be there for you, and I guess that's what Walmart's trying to push that to each other.
And love is the only way we're going to get through all this. Fear has crept its way in here, and the only way to cast out fear is by love.
The temporary memorial was moved to Ponder Park, where the city is encouraged to tie orange ribbons on the gate. Although our city has faced a tragedy, we always remember that we are El Paso strong. This has been Gianna Rivera reporting for Rocket Vision.
Americans who express the gun laws should be more rigorous have increased 12% since 2017.
The year 2017 saw more gun-related deaths than any year before.
For this week's Question of the Week, reporter Tyler Williamson asked our teachers their perspectives on gun laws.
In recent events, we have been seeing violence on the streets, in shopping centers, and even schools. The Second Amendment gives Americans the right to carry a firearm, though lately, through the media, we have been seeing attempts to take that right away. So it begs the question, if any, what modifications should be made to gun laws to prevent mass shootings?
There's only one gun law that exists in this country, and that's the Second Amendment. It's covered by the right to keep and bear arms. It's the only gun law that's necessary for us as a populace. It was designed to protect us from the government. That's why it needs to be in place and stay in place as is.
Okay, the Second Amendment does guarantee the right of a well-organized militia to keep and bear arms in defense of themselves against their country. Totally in support of that. I think that the gun laws as they stand, they're okay. They actually need to be enforced, okay? Instead of adding more laws, how about we just enforce the laws we already have? Though I do believe that people who have domestic violence charges against them should not be allowed to have firearms.
I would make no change to the gun laws because if you trust government too much, then the government takes over and you don't have any way of fighting back. If you look at Mexico, the problem is no private citizens can own guns. So when the cartels came in, they could just sweep through Mexico and they took over basically whole towns.
One of them is restricting the type of guns that should be allowed. I truly believe that AK-47 should not be available to ordinary citizens. Also believe that there should be stricter laws in trying to define which type of people. If a mentally deranged person have accessible to guns, they should not be allowed.
Remember, as Americans, we should be informed on our government and our rights so we can properly participate in political process. This is Tyler Williamson, reporting for Rocket Vision.
Though some have lost hope in humanity, 11-year-old Ruben Martinez took it upon himself to turn a horrific event into a selfless act of goodwill.
Martinez created the El Paso Challenge, and we didn't have to travel too far from home to show how our Rocket Vision staff engaged in this challenge.
You look very beautiful today.
Thank you so much for acknowledging. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, and also, can I pay for the car behind me?
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to this special edition of Rocket Vision.
Although our city may still be learning to surpass this feeling of invasion, we have seen how our city has united to keep El Paso strong.
As each of us continue to go on with our lives, we will never forget those that were taken from us.
This is Karina Garcia
and Mia Johnson, reporting for Rocket Vision.